Okay, Dr. Engel.
Thank you. Each year, the Department of Ed asks all school districts to do a self-assessment in harassment, intimidation, and bullying reports that have been submitted for the year. And so I've asked our district HIV coordinator, Mr. Mistretta, to do a short presentation to the board about this year's assessment. So, Mr. Mistretta.
The key word was short.
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry.
Check, 1, 2. Thank you. I just want to thank Ms. Sean for helping me put this presentation together. She was really great. Okay, so this is an overview of the 16-17 school year self-assessment that we submitted last year. We got our official grade report, which verified the score that I presented on to you earlier, I believe in August. Our score was a 68 out of 78 this year. If you remember, the school self-assessment is filled out by the school safety and climate team. There are a bunch of different indicators and core elements. These are the 8 elements. We rate ourselves 0, 1, 2, or 3 are the scores, and these are the 8 core elements. These are the results in the graphing over the past 3 years. You can see that in 14-15 we were 64 out of 78. With some targeted work, we were able to get ourselves up to a 68 out of 78 for the 16-17 school year. 16-17, we went up in core element 1, HIV programs and initiatives, and also in number 5, HIV personnel. Areas of strength for 16 and 17, how were we able to go up those 2 points? We got on the No Place for Hate committee, and we were able to earn a gold star by doing a bunch of different activities leading us to that recognition. We purchased the Hipster software, which allowed us to auto-generate and keep track of all our cases in a more systematic manner. And there was a lot more collaboration between the anti-bullying coordinator and the anti-bullying specialist and the building administration. We were able to meet more than 2 times. We gained points specifically in item 1D, which is that No Place for Hate, and in 5B, we met 4 times in the 16-17 school year. Today, we just had our 3rd meeting for the school safety and climate team. So we're able to maintain our points for next year. These are 2 areas, I know I'm not supposed to report on this year because we haven't officially submitted the self-assessment yet, but we will be going up 2 points to a 70 out of 78. These are the 2 areas. In item 3A, we were able to gain a point. We had a suicide prevention training that was done by an outside professional organization, West Bergen Mental Health. And 8B, if you look on our school website, in the HIV section, not only is there the self-assessment grid, there's also some materials that we found put out by the DOE that explains a little bit what those core elements are and what the school's responsibility is in rating in all different areas. Every year we talk about what our goals are for next year. I'll report out again in August, but these are the 8 areas where we could potentially gain points for next year. C is one we're going to target, and 1C/1E when we analyze the school safety and climate survey data that we sent out to staff and I believe we're sending out to parents shortly. Anybody has any questions? This concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Brian.
And the only other item that I wanted to cover in my report is simply to say that earlier this month we had the 3rd and final one of our strategic planning meetings, which was focused on mission and goal, district mission statement and district goal settings. Our meeting was a highly successful one, and I felt that there was a huge amount of enthusiastic participation, so I really appreciated the input, not only from our team of administrators who were very actively involved, but also from all the members of the public who came and of course, several of our board members who were part of that too. So thank you for all that participation. Now, we're going to be taking the materials that we generated, and our administrative team is going to be working on creating some action steps so that by the time that we have our board retreat next month, I'll be ready to show you a draft of what we've come up with so that we can discuss it and talk about how it may possibly sync up with goals that the board wants to establish for next year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Shoney.
The school election for this year is November 6th, and at the election, the board has 3 expiring terms for 3-year terms. The deadline for a prospective school board candidate to submit their petition is due to the county office in Hackensack by 4 o'clock, July 30th, 2018. I'm going to have a link posted on the board tomorrow, the board's website, linking you to New Jersey school boards where you can download any information you want in becoming a school board candidate, and I will have copies in the board office should anybody not have access to a computer and forms. Also, I'm very happy on tonight's agenda, we have a candidate for the payroll position that I have been looking for since I arrived here in December, so very excited to get that going when we and I are hired into the payroll. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Minutes, review of May 23rd. Any comments or questions, please email our board secretary. We have approval of meeting minutes April 25th and May 9th. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve April 25th and May 9th.
Second by Dr. Westlake. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mr. Oradell?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mrs. Robertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nicholas?
Yes. Committee reports. Mr. Odo, would you take administrative items?
Well, really? We only have A1, which I guess we just need to move. So I'd like to move item A1. Thanks.
Second by Dr. Westlake. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mr. Odo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley?
Yes.
Mrs. Robertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nicholas?
Yes, Mr. Odo, is around.
I'd like to move item B1.
Second by Dr. Westlake. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mr. Odo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mrs. Robertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, whose mic is that? Curriculum, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I'd like to move C1.
Dr. Westlake, second. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mr. Odo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mrs. Robertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, finance, Mrs. Shapiro.
I'd like to move items D1 through D4.
Dr. Westlake, second. Any questions?
I just have one question. I don't have an issue with our joint purchasing agreement. I just wondered if there was any check to make certain that all services that have been delivered to our students have been verified so that we don't have an issue. If there's some kind of a check to make sure that the correct information has been passed?
Mr. Estrada, do you want to just speak briefly about the reports that we get from Region 5 administration?
Maybe I can clarify a little bit. I just want to be certain that while we're in this consortium, I understand that a lot of the responsibility comes from Region 5 handling all of the different people who are providing services to our students. Are we certain that all of those, is there any way that we can check on the veracity of what we get from Region 5? Is there any chance that anything can fall through the cracks, or like that someone might not provide a service and they bill us for a service? Is that something that could happen?
So do you mean, so let me just understand, do you mean in terms of like licensing, do they have the proper certifications to be in a school, or are they overbilling us?
Overbilling.
So when a Region 5 provider comes to provide occupational therapy, physical therapy, something like that, they sign in our child study team office, number one, we get the hours. There's also a second sheet that they do. They track their daily log of, at 9 o'clock I went to this class and I saw these students. At 9:30 I went to this class and saw these students. And then they submit those to us. That allows us to track when they're absent and which sessions need to be made up. And when the invoices come in each month, we verify with their original timesheet when they signed in, and then also their timesheet of what they were doing individually in the session to make sure it matches with what's on the invoice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't mean to bring anything up. It just occurred to me that we need to make sure that we've got things in place to make certain that there is no overbilling or underbilling or whatever. But thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question on D4. If we're going to another architect, I remember we did approve a fairly large amount for land to do this project. Did we pay them that whole amount, or I know it was broken down into different segments?
We only approved an amount of $2,500.
And that's
And
what we
they've
spent
done,
with them?
correct.
Okay. So the rest of it we didn't approve, okay.
There was an original proposal,
That was
and
forward,
we
right.
inherited that.
So, do we want to go from 2,500 to 7,500 right away to see what they're going to be doing for us, or do we want to try them out? Since we have an issue with the land.
Right, his bid is broken down into parts, so
Okay.
this is.
So this is not just for the drawings?
Correct, but
Okay.
it's a not to exceed amount, but we're only starting with phase 1.
Okay, and this is not phase 1, this is everything?
And you can see the breakdowns in your packet.
Okay.
And it's in the contract in the packet.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the question?
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Odo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Westlake? Mrs. Robertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, delegate report, Mr. Walsh.
First of all, I want to thank all the members who came out to the award ceremony for Gina and I. I appreciate it, Gina appreciates it. It was a nice night. And second of all, I booked 5 rooms in Atlantic City for the workshop at $29 a night.
What are you saying?
Paris,
What
in a hotel.
In the basement.
Now, we can keep that price. I don't know how many members are coming. Maybe the same 3, maybe hopefully additional members, but we can work out the rooms. I have 2 days till October 19th, 2018 to cancel any of the rooms that are booked. So, but the price is good.
How about the rooms?
Rooms are as good as the price. And actually inside bed.
They were nice last year.
Yeah, they walk.
Is that what you said last year?
Yes.
Does it have a bathroom in it?
I have two. Yeah, it does. So I booked 5 rooms. And we'll definitely talk about it, but we have to register already soon
It's, the registration is open,
to get a break. Right.
There's a group registration, and then we move forward from there.
So
Do you know the dates off the top of your head?
October 22nd to October 25th. I booked October 21st to October 25th. In case anybody wants to go on Sunday. Have to be. I don't want to drive down Monday, so I'll pay for the move on Sunday.
$29.
I should be able to save enough money that But that's probably the best price that I've seen.
Admin team will go with you.
Is that with your AAA discount?
Oh, I didn't use that.
Oh, we might be down to $27.50.
Oh, no matter. I use my total rewards card. And you get that when you go down there and do it.
We signed up for
Yes.
those last year, so that we could be earning more.
So another 10 years, you can both get another award. Another 10? We'll do another dinner.
I got it, and so small.
All right, anything else, Mr. Wolf?
No, nothing else to report.
Personnel, Ms. Robertson.
I'd like to present to the board F1 and F4.
Second.
Any questions? Call the question?
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mr. Odo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Leslie? Mrs. Robertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, policy, Mr. Griffin?
I'd like to move G1.
Second.
Who are you taking that with? Michelle? All right. Any questions? Call the question?
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mr. Odo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Leslie? Mrs. Robertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, public relations, Mrs. Norman?
No report, but we will be attempting to take a board picture tonight, since we have all members in attendance.
Tri District Dr. Westlake? Open to the public. Come on, please, say something to us. We beg you.
It's just, I have been approved to use the colleges next year, so just thank you
For coming to our meeting. Any old business or new?
Did you see anything at the meeting that you could work on?
Any our admin team, anyone? Any old business? Old or new, Mrs. Walker?
Just a little bit of new business that Rotary and PTA are partnering again this year for the Wizards, which will be October 26th. We've already been deeply entrenched in the planning, and tickets will go on sale August 1st and through the 14th, where they will be discounted at $15 for children and seniors and $20 for adults. It's a great evening, as many know. And then
When is it, October 26th?
October 26th.
When's
25th.
one day after $29 hotel room?
I'm gonna have to miss one night down there, John.
One.
I'm part of this Rotary. Yeah, that's it. This way. Anyway, it's just a start, but we really, it's great working with the PTA. They are just a super team. So we're looking for a packed house again, and we're looking for teachers to be playing in the game and participating, so that makes it a big part of it, and of course our admin team. So, and our new psychologist, I'm sure. will be participating.
She looks very much.
No pressure, no pressure.
Here you go.
So graduation is June 20th, next Wednesday. Is that true? Next Wednesday, right, Dr. Randall? So whoever's around wants to come to graduation, it's 9 o'clock? What time is it, 9:30, 9? Oh, the principal doesn't even know graduation is.
We need to get through awards on Monday first.
Please. We don't know what time graduation
It's
is?
not.
9:30. 9:30 Monday, if anyone's around and wants to come.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, that's what I meant to
Monday,
say, June
Monday.
20th, yeah.
Monday would be 6:30 if you'd like.
Reward ceremony. Anybody do their superintendent's evaluation? All right. I apparently was going into the wrong one today, so we have to get it done. You have to go onto your account. That's the awards.
What's the deadline?
This
We need a
weekend,
deadline.
and we may have to actually add a meeting to our schedule to meet, so get it done. All right, any other, I did have a nightmare 2 nights ago, by the way, about the July 4th parade. And I missed you guys, I was running late, and I missed you guys at the train, and I was running. And I woke up, and I said, oh my God, it's still coming. So get ready.
Not
Buy
leaving
my
us though,
candy.
you're starting at the
No,
beginning.
no,
Yes, you
I
are.
carry more candy than
Then
anybody.
don't.
Come to my house.
No, I carry too much candy, I
It's
carry.
not.
Any other business, any go into closed session?
So the Oradell's gonna have to do like 4 or something?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I'll stand in the right
I
order.
don't take a picture, but motion to adjourn, Dr.
Second.